What is up, you guys? I'm Ethan Cap. Me and Austin are back with another banger, and today we're going to be doing a tier list of every movie and TV show in Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We'll each decide which tier we think each project belongs in, and the tiers are the S tier, which means like top of the line, amazing. The A tier, which means not quite masterpiece, but really close. The B tier, which means good. That's pretty self-explanatory. Not great, but still really solid. The C tier, which means average. Like mediocre. And then the D tier, which is bad. These aren't going to be like full in-depth reviews. It's just going to be like a small summary of our thoughts on each project, what we liked and disliked about them. All right, we got a lot of stuff to cover, so let's get right into it. First things first. The first project in Marvel's Phase 4 and the first Disney Plus exclusive MCU TV show, WandaVision. So, you want to start?
Yeah, sure. I'll start. So, WandaVision was very unique. I think it came out at a great time too. After COVID, we were kind of desperate for some content, anything related, but much less Marvel. And so when it came out, I was really high on it. I really enjoyed the show. Week to week was a really good discussion, but with all my friends about what's going to happen next week. Like me and you had a lot of discussions about, keeping up with the show every week. Mm-hmm. And I think the shows in general over time have kind of lost that, which makes sense just because they're not new anymore.
Yeah.
So WandaVision was great. It came out at a good time. It had a great cast, had good music, and the sitcom style I just love. So I think WandaVision is one of the best TV shows that it came out with. I'm going to put it in the A tier.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I'm also going to put it in the A tier. I love like the sitcom style of them paying homage to like old sitcoms, like the Dick Van Dyke Show and a Malcolm in the Middle and a Modern Family. The performances are phenomenal, especially from Elizabeth Olsen. It tackles some really interesting themes of grief, trauma, and like looking back on the past. And Captain Han was also really good. I loved her as Agatha. And honestly, my only real complaint with the show is I didn't love the direction they took with the Quicksilver Ralph Boner thing, but apart from that, I think this was a really good show.
Completely agreed. And the director is making Fantastic Four, so I'm excited for that.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be good. Yeah. All right, next up we got the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, so Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think is very underrated. I think the show gets a lot of hate for no reason. I think it's better than WandaVision. I think that I really like they show and dive deep into Sam's transition from Falcon to Captain America. I like that they made it, more of a struggle for him, not necessarily someone who could pick up the shield and go right into it. I love that they showed that there's some baggage with that, and there's a transition period that needs to take place, and they showed it, fleshed it out. And Bucky Barnes fleshed him out as well. He's awesome. And so I think that showed a lot of hate for not having a compelling villain. I think that was kind of the point. The villain is supposed to be, you're supposed to relate with them and understand them, just not how they're, going about it. So, like I said, I think the show is very underrated. I think it's much higher on my list. I think it's the second best show they've made. Obviously, one we'll get to later.
Yeah.
The Soldier is great. It's in the A tier as well. I really enjoyed it. And Isaiah Bradley is the best part of the show.
Yeah, he was so good. Like the scenes where him and Sam are talking about Captain America and the history of the Super Soldier program. I mean, that was absolutely heart-wrenching and so well written. And both actors did just an incredible job. I like that the show kind of continued the aesthetic and vibe and the themes of Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and Civil War. I think those two films are like top tier MCU. Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan have great chemistry. I loved Daniel Brühl as Zemo whenever he showed up. His scenes were really good, and like you said, Isaiah Bradley was really great as well. I love the themes that the show addresses about again having to explore that transition, Sam's transition, from Falcon to Captain America. And exploring how America might react to that kind of change. I also love the arc and character of John Walker, and the actor Wyatt Russell did a fantastic job with that character. And I'm also going to put this in the A tier.
A line that really stuck out to me in that show was how Captain America said at the end that a senator in Congress has as much power as Thanos does in terms of affecting people in our planet, and that's awesome. That's exactly what the show was going for. It executed it well. A lot of people were angry that Captain America gave a speech at the end of the season. No, that's what I think Captain America is.
Yeah,
he leads by example.
Yeah, that's
the only power he has is that we can do better. That's it.
That's the whole spirit of the character, and I can't wait, for Captain America: New World Order. We're gonna see a lot of these characters and themes again. All right, next up we got Loki.
Okay, so Loki is my S tier pick easily. Loki is amazing. Tom Hiddleston is fantastic. Owen Wilson is great. The actress who plays Sylvie, can't remember her name, Sophie.
Sophie DiMartino, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's fantastic as well. The entire cast is awesome. This show has a great story. It's intriguing from the beginning. It's at the moment it starts. As soon as Miss Minutes pops on the screen, you're hooked right in. And it has a great climax in the end with them introducing Kang the Conqueror, and that's where we're going with the future. And he's such a threatening villain, you can tell, and it's threatening in like a just let me listen to this dude talk sort of way, not like an actual power threat. It's just with his words. His words carry so much weight. Mm-hmm. It's just a great show it has a lot of drive. It has focus and knows what it wants, and it executes it perfectly. Best thing that Disney Plus has made so far.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm also going to put this in the S tier. Tom Hiddleston, as always, is excellent. The chemistry between him and Owen Wilson is top notch. And like you said, just the amount of mystery and intrigue that keeps you hooked, from the beginning of the show onwards. It's just great. And I love the various themes and concepts they explore involving time and the multiverse and like different versions of different people. I especially love the one episode where we see Richard E. Grant as classic Loki. He was awesome. Like, this was a really great show, and easily the best Marvel Disney Plus show so far, in my opinion. I cannot wait for season 2, and I also can't wait to see more of Jonathan Majors as a Kang. I mean, because Jonathan Majors as an actor has just been absolutely killing it lately.
Yeah, easily. Fantastic show.
All right, next up, we got the first movie in Phase 4, Black Widow.
Okay, so Black Widow, I think, is a very average movie. I think that Scarlett Johansson and the character of Black Widow deserve much better than this. Mm-hmm. Really, the only parts of the movie that I like is the cast. David Harbour is great as Red Guardian. Florence Pugh is great as Yelena. Honestly, I think she steals the show from Black Widow. It's which really stinks for that to be in her own movie. But this movie it has a problem that I have with a lot of MCU movies, and it's just a big spectacle third act. Like, not everything needs to be a massive fighting things falling from the sky battle. I think the movie Shang-Chi suffers from the same problem.
Yeah.
When it needs when you have an interpersonal story between characters who are struggling, you don't need a big skeptical battle because it doesn't feel natural. It feels like the movie is on a pace and then it goes, and it's just like, where'd this come from? That's my problem with Black Widow, and the Taskmaster thing is something I'll never get over. So
yeah.
I think Black Widow is fine. It's not great. It's not bad. B tier, good, or average. C or B, whichever one average.
The B would be good, and a C would be like average.
Okay. Yep. C, Black Widow.
Yeah. And wow, it's pretty funny that so far our placing have been the same. So I'm also gonna put this in the C tier. It's a film that I dislike and get frustrated by the more I watch it and the more I think about it, because like you said, this character deserves so much better, because fans have wanted a Black Widow solo film for years. Yet they only gave us one after the character died in Endgame. So we already know what happens to her in the future, and so we get this prequel where there really like aren't any stakes to anything to anything that's happening. It's just like this film was 5 to 10 years too late, and I feel like story-wise it just didn't do enough to justify its existence. I mean, the cast is fantastic, but a forgettable story and the complete butchering of Taskmaster. In my opinion, Taskmaster treatment in this film is just as bad as the treatment of Deadpool in X-Men Origins. That might be a hot take, but that's just how I feel. I mean, because Taskmaster is one of the coolest villains in Marvel Comics, but they completely changed the backstory, and they just completely wrecked it. Now, like, this movie's not bad by any means. There are some cool moments here and there, but it should have been way better, and it was very underwhelming.
Agreed. I remember literally going to the movies that week to see Black Widow. I believe I went with you, and we were all talking about wow, this Black Widow movie will not be better than Loki episode 5. No way. No way it's better than Loki. So I mean, that's where we were at with it. So All
right, next up we got the show What If.
I like the What If show. I put it right in the B tier because I like half the episodes and half of them I don't care about.
Yeah.
The Ultron episode is amazing. The Killmonger episode I love. I think it's great. Doctor Strange episode, one of the best things I've seen on television ever.
Oh yeah.
So those 3 episodes are great. I can't name the other 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Peggy Carter's one I know, but other than that, it just shows it's got some great moments, but it's got some episodes that are not so good, which some people might have the other episodes they like a lot. It's just they're experimenting with different things.
Yeah.
Give people different taste. Jeffrey Wright is great as the Watcher, the best Watcher voice there is. So this is a fine show. B.
Yeah, I agree. This show is the one that I had the most trouble with in regards to like placement. It's like right between like the B and C tier for me. The highs of the show are really high and really good. The Doctor Strange episode was amazing. The Black Panther Star-Lord episode was really good, and this series marks Boseman's like final performance as the character. That definitely hit really hard, and hearing his voice again as that character for the last time, that really got me in the feels. I thought the Marvel Zombies episode was pretty fun, and the Killmonger one, but the other half of the series I can barely remember, and it's honestly kind of forgettable. And Jeffrey Wright is great as the Watcher, but yeah, like I think the show that has a lot of potential, and I hope its ideas that it can be a bit more fleshed out and executed in the next season. Okay, next up we got Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi. Okay, so I think Shang-Chi is a movie that I absolutely adore for an hour and 40 minutes. Maybe more than that. Hour 45, hour 50. But then the final 30, 20 minutes of that movie, where the big dragons come out and it's a huge war between 2 factions. I just did not care. I was sitting in the theater and I was like, man, I do not like this. And it was because like they're building these characters, Shang-Chi and the Mandarin, as this father-son relationship of, the disbarment between them because of their mother. And they're building this great tension between them along with his sister. And then they substitute a really personal battle that could have had, but for big spectacle, Shang-Chi flying around with the rings, fighting dragons and stuff. And I just, after the last 20 minutes of that movie really put a bad taste in my mouth, and I haven't seen it since. So from my previous exposure to the movie, I'm gonna put it at a B tier. It's good, but I think in 5 years from now when I watch it again, it might go up, might go down. I'm not sure, depending on how I like the last 30 seconds or the last 30 minutes. Excuse me. But I do love all the characters. Shang-Chi is fantastic. His friend, can't think of her name or the actress's name. Apologies for that. And but the director,
Awkwafina is the actress. Yeah.
Yep, that's right. She's great as well. I thought her comment hit good. Wong was in it.
Yeah.
Wong's great everywhere he's in.
Yep. W.
And Daniel Dresden Cresson, who's directing the Kang Dynasty.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be good.
That's gonna be great because the action in this movie, besides the big CGI stuff, was great.
Yeah.
The kung fu, like the bringing back the Jackie Chan style movies, had great action. So I am really looking forward to the new Avengers movie because I think he's a great director. I think if it wasn't for the MCU-isms in this movie, the last 30 minutes, this could be an S tier movie for me. But I'm gonna put it at a B right now.
I actually have this in the S tier. I was surprised that by how much I really enjoyed it. The cinematography from Bill Pope is on point as always. Like you said, like the fight scenes and martial arts are extremely well done, and it might be some of the best like fight scenes we've gotten in the MCU since the Winter Soldier and Civil War. I love like the family dynamic and the story that between Shang-Chi and his father. Tony Leung was amazing as the antagonist, and in my opinion, is one of the best MCU villains that we've gotten in quite some time. Justin Daniel Cretton did a great job directing. I cannot wait to see what he does with the Kang Dynasty. I think that it's in very good hands. I thought this was a really fun and well done film, and I can't wait to see more of these characters and more of this lore, and the mythology. But I do agree with your critique though, and this is a problem I've seen with a few MCU films. Is that like because it starts off seeming like it's gonna go more like a down to earth and like different direction with these really cool and compelling like interpersonal conflicts, but then typically towards like the final act, it kind of devolves back into like typical MCUism with the over reliance on humor, the big CGI battle. Although I thought the CGI battle was actually kind of cool in spots, and because the way with like the rings and the colors and everything, it gave me me like heavy like Dragon Ball vibes. You know, so I thought that was kind of cool. So yeah, I enjoyed this a whole lot.
I can see why. It's a great movie.
Yeah. All right. Next up is the Eternals. This is a weird one. This is the film that people are really split on, and it's actually the first MCU film that, you know, to get a Rotten Critics score on Rotten Tomatoes.
So I actually I do not like Eternals.
Oh.
I didn't like it the night it came out. I don't really like it now. It's one of two movies I have in the D category for my list here. Eternals, I think, is just a movie that has too much going on. Has a lot of characters who, this is spoilers, so I can talk about spoilers. They die before their like character development. They die before they're even introduced as characters. And so, as a person watching the movie, you're frustrated because the movie wants you to care about these characters, but they're dying before they're introduced. It's backwards storytelling done wrong. And this movie has two sets of villains. The movie sets up one set of villain, one particular type of villain, then forgets about it halfway through the movie, sets up another one.
Yeah, it's a different one.
Then it does that villain for the rest of the time, and then it's like, oh, do you remember me? Remember me in the final 10 seconds? And they forgot about him again and came back over here. So it's a movie that's all over the place. It has a lot going on. I've always said I thought it would be better as a 10-episode Disney Plus show for each of the. So yeah, I'm not a fan of the Eternals. I haven't been since it came out. I think it came out, I gave it way too good of a score because I was like Marvel, but no, at all really. So I'm gonna give it a D.
Yeah, to me, this movie's okay. It's a film that has way too much going on. It's a film that's trying to introduce so many characters and so many concepts at once that the movie is both too long and not long enough. Like you said, I feel like the story would have been way better as a show, and there would have been a lot more time to really deeply explore and flesh out these characters and ideas. I mean, it's got some great concepts, some great visuals, and some solid performances, especially from Kumail Nanjiani, Brian Tyree Henry, Barry Keoghan, and Lauren Ridloff. But it's got those good ideas and good qualities, but like extremely flawed execution. And the pacing is very slow. And again, it keeps jumping back and forth in time. That's one of my biggest movie pet peeves is films that are constantly jumping, and you know, from time period to time period. Some films do that well, you know, but this one really doesn't. I had a difficult time caring about most of the characters, and yeah, this one, I don't think it's quite bad. I just find it very, very average, and I'm gonna put this in the C tier.
Yeah, it's also a movie that relies heavily on the cast.
Yeah,
like Angelina Jolie, Salma Hayek, Harry Styles shows up in it.
Yeah, all these big names.
They're really like betting hard that you come to the movies for the cast.
Yeah,
because it's got big names in it, but those characters are. When you're watching the movie, you're not seeing them as characters. You're seeing, hey, there's Angelina Jolie in a Marvel movie.
Yeah. All right, next up we got Hawkeye.
So yeah, Hawkeye is a show that I do not think is. I think it's okay. I think it is a TV show that has. It's a show that from week to week, I don't think anything happened. Like I would watch the show, and then I would finish the show, and I'd be like, "What happened that week?" And I couldn't tell you because the show was so based on the characters that nothing in the plot would move forward. And I'm usually okay with that. But when it comes to Disney Plus and you have to wait a week between episodes, you like to feel like there's some momentum in the plot and like the characters are moving forward in their journeys, when it didn't feel like that to me. Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye was great. Kate Bishop, Haley Steinfeld, Kate Bishop, awesome. And the show also suffers from the problem I have with a lot of shows is that they like to throw in a villain there at the end.
Yeah.
And Kingpin, Vincent D'Onofrio is great as Kingpin, but he's just shoehorned in the last 20 minutes of the whole, like he's only got 5 minutes of screen time in the whole show. Yeah. And just have a hard time relating to the show. And it's supposed to be a Christmas show, you know, it's supposed to be fun, good times, Christmas trees. So it's fine. It's okay. To me, I think it's a C. It's an average TV show.
I actually enjoyed the show quite a bit. Jeremy Renner and Haley Steinfeld are both really good and have great chemistry. I thought a lot of the action scenes were really fun and creative, like especially that like one car chase that had like the long take and that scene on the bridge where they had to use the Hank Pym arrows. I thought that was a really cool scene. I thought that having the show take place in New York on Christmas, I think that gave the show a cool like fun backdrop. And I thought that Echo was an interesting character, and I'm actually pretty excited for a spinoff, especially since Daredevil and Kingpin are gonna be in that show as well. And as soon as Echo shot Kingpin and it just cut away, I knew we were gonna see Kingpin again, because one, they wouldn't just bring Vincent D'Onofrio back only to kill him off, and also you can never trust a death that takes place off screen. I personally really enjoyed the show, and I'm gonna put it in the A tier.
Nice. I don't blame one bit. All my friends really enjoyed the show. It's just for me, it came out at a time where I was patiently waiting for Spider-Man.
All right.
Very patiently waiting for Spider-Man, and I was watching my Marvel content, and I was like, wow, nothing's happening.
Yeah.
Nothing's happening. And then Florence Pugh shows up, you kind of forget she shows up because she's barely. So yeah, I completely understand you liking it. I will give credit though to that one car scene you were talking about. It's all shot in the car. It's a one take. It's really well done. Great action.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for a good one take scene.
One change of clothes and location later. All right, next up we got Spider-Man No Way Home.
Spider-Man No Way Home was amazing. It is John Watts's like masterpiece. I think is the way that they brought this movie together, and it was able to live up to all the hype, which is insane to think about because the hype around this movie was insane. And anytime you bring a movie in that's going to have our previous Spider-Man in it, this movie was built for the fans. Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, William Dafoe, Alfred Molina, the whole crew is here, and it's built for the fans. And thank goodness, I'm a huge fan. So I love this movie to pieces. I really don't have anything bad to say about it. Even if there was things bad to say about it, I would ignore it because Tobey Maguire's in the movie and Willem Dafoe's in the movie. So
Andrew
it's
Garfield.
great. And Andrew Garfield's in the movie. And it's just the fact they took these Spider-Men, our previous Spider-Man that we've watched since we were 2-3 years old, and used them to enhance our new Spider-Man, and Tom Holland is fantastic. It's about as good as you can get from terms of a screenwriting perspective, and I think it's perfect. Easy guess tier.
Yeah, I completely agree. And for me, this is also an easy S tier. I was like definitely like a tiny bit concerned that it would not be able to live up to to the massive, like the massive hype and expectations. And very luckily, this film does not suffer from the same problems that the Amazing Spider-Man 2 had. Whereas that film, it just felt like extremely overcrowded and convoluted and trying to do way too many things at once. I think that this film, everything that it was trying to do, I think they balanced everything. They balanced everything perfectly, and the inclusion of these past actors and past characters, like you said, it's not just there for crowd pleasing fan service. It also moves the story along, and furthers Tom Holland's Spider-Man as a character. Like he actually goes through a really good arc in this movie. In the previous Spider-Man are there to help build him up. It was awesome to see Toby and Andrew back, and they were fantastic. Willem Dafoe was phenomenal, and this film is basically a love letter to the character and universes of Spider-Man. And the way that this film ends, it leaves me absolutely stoked to see where they're gonna take Holland Spider-Man next. And yeah, I also really can't think of anything else to say about it that has not already been said by a billion other people, and I can't think of anything bad to say about it. So amazing film. I was this exceeded my expectations, and yeah, easy S tier.
I completely agree. I'm really excited for the future of Tom Holland's Spider-Man in terms of where his character was, what he's been through, and what's in the future, especially now with more characters coming in like Daredevil.
Oh, yeah.
And hopefully the Fantastic Four, a lot of people for him to interact with. And it's just where they left this character is, I'm so excited for it.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Absolutely.